After Wang Jingzhu obtained a membership in the world of cultivation, you have money and power, can you run past me? I have a home teleportation. You have extraordinary combat power, can you run faster than me? I have many families. You're a big shot in the world, can you outrun me? I teleport across borders, instantly. You can't run away from me, what the hell? Come here, call Dad. Keywords of the novel. I have a Cultivation World Green card with no pop-ups, I have a Cultivation World Green card. Download the complete text of the Cultivation World Green card, and I have the latest chapters to read about the Cultivation World Green card. Chapter 1. I am you from another world. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. I am you from another world. Wang Jingzhu was just about to turn off the lights and go to sleep when he turned around and saw a woman in ancient costume with blood on her hands. Her hair was so scared that it stood on end. She quickly stepped back to the study desk and pulled out the wolf-proof electric baton from her open backpack. It is said that ghosts are afraid of electricity. I don't know if it's true. Wang Jingzhu decided to give the costume girl an electric baton first. She turned on the switch, raised the electric stick and was about to connect it to the woman in ancient costume. Suddenly, she found that the woman in ancient costume was exactly the same as her own, so she couldn't help being on the spot. I'm you. The ancient costume woman spoke, her voice identical to Wang Jingzhu's. Wang Jingzhu held the electric baton tightly, slowly retreating and pressing her back against the wall. At this moment, she noticed a door behind the woman in ancient costume. A door made of light, elliptical in shape. Wang Jingzhu has seen this kind of door in games, movies, and TV shows, but has not seen it in reality. The ancient woman put down the oversized package in her hand. That is a package wrapped in a silk sheet. There is a big blood hole on the wrist of a woman in ancient costume, which has been bleeding continuously. The package is stained with a lot of blood and looks very permeable. What do you want to do? Wang Jingzhu asked nervously. The ancient woman's gaze wandered around, revealing a disdainful look at the colorful stickers on the walls, and even more disdainful of the simple tables, chairs, and beds. It wasn't until her gaze fell on the bright and clean tiled floor that she had a joyful and satisfied expression. I come from the mainland of Zhaoyang and am you from another world. In that world, I should say it's you, the eldest lady from the Wang family, one of the 4 major families in Anqing City. Wang Jingzhu remained silent and thought to himself, I know you come from another world, the underworld. What does madam mean? Is it the first wife? We are the same person, but we have experienced different lives in different worlds. The woman in ancient costume suddenly smiled, shall we change? You go to the mainland of Zhaoyang, while I stay here. No. Wang Jingzhu gave the answer without even thinking. She shouldn't go to the underworld. The ancient woman's face suddenly turned fierce, and as she lifted her arm, a flame flew towards Wang Jingzhu. Wang Jingzhu was greatly shocked, avoiding the flames on one side and using an electric baton, he rushed over. The flame hit the wall behind Wang Jingzhu, creating a shallow pit on the wall and then annihilating it. The ancient woman sneered, grabbed the electric stick with one hand and tried to condense the fireball with the other. However, as soon as she caught the electric stick, she couldn't help but twitch and couldn't condense the fireball. Wang Jingzhu couldn't help but feel delighted and forcefully pounded the electric stick towards the opponent. The woman in ancient costume was convulsing all over, but she twisted her body strangely and approached Wang Jingzhu. Her hand, which could not gather a fireball, grabbed Wang Jingzhu's throat. The current instantly enters Wang Jingzhu's body. Wang Jingzhu twitched and almost threw away the electric baton, but she immediately tightened her grip even harder. The electric current of the electric stick cannot kill people. This is just a self-defense device, not a murder weapon. But Wang Jingzhu firmly believes that ghosts are afraid of electricity. As long as there is more electricity for a while, the ancient costume woman will definitely die. She couldn't help but believe it. Wang Jingzhu had no other choice but to continue the electricity. Ordinary people who are electrocuted will immediately lose their mobility. The woman in ancient costume grabbed Wang Jingzhu by the neck and lifted her up, walking towards the light gate. You, die instead of me. And I, will live instead of you. As she was about to be thrown into the door, Wang Jingzhu decisively turned off the power supply of the electric stick. The current disappeared, and Wang Jingzhu still felt stiff and sluggish all over her body. However, she exerted all her strength and her suspended legs suddenly hooked and coiled around the waist of the ancient woman. The woman in ancient costume was throwing Wang Jingzhu into the guangmen when she suddenly rolled into the guangmen with Wang Jingzhu. The scenery in front of me suddenly changed. The narrow bedroom has transformed into an antique and spacious boudoir. Blue stone flooring, carved hollow doors and windows, stepping bed, embroidered bamboo screen. Bang! With Wang Jingzhu's unremitting efforts, she finally knocked down the ancient costume woman. However, Wang Jingzhu is below, and the woman in ancient costume is above. His back hit the cold blue stone floor, and Wang Jingzhu almost fainted from the pain. This fall and shock caused blood to gush out from the wrist of a woman in ancient costume, spraying a lot on Wang Jingzhu's face and body. Wang Jingzhu's throat was choked, and she was originally trying to breathe with her mouth wide open. Suddenly, she was sprayed with blood. The foul-smelling blood entered her mouth, causing Wang Jingzhu's stomach to churn. At this moment, a mysterious rune flew out of the arms of a woman in ancient attire, hanging in the air, emitting a faint radiance. Guanghua enveloped Wang Jingzhu and Wang Jingzhu. At the same time, a deep yet ethereal voice sounded. Sacrifice one's life, complete with ceremony. The teleportation light gate suddenly disappeared. Wang Jingzhu widened her eyes as she almost choked herself to death, transforming into a beam of light that hit her face. Her eyebrows hurt, and her mind was filled with memories of someone else. The rune scroll in mid-air flickered, transforming into a ball of light and merging into Wang Jingzhu's heart. The ancient costume woman disappeared, and even the blood scattered on Wang Jingzhu's body turned into light and merged into Wang Jingzhu's body. Only scattered clothing and jewelry indicate that this ancient costume woman once existed. Originally, the ancient costume woman was not a ghost, her name was Wang Jingzhu. The name is homophonic but different from Wang Jingzhu. She is truly the eldest lady of the Wang family, one of the 4 major families in Anqing City. However, the eldest lady does not mean the eldest wife, but rather the eldest lady. This type of Tang address refers to a woman as Nyangzi, which does not mean wife, but rather means girl, miss, madam, and so on. The mainland of Zhaoyang is not an underworld, but a world of cultivation. People mainly focus on cultivating immortals and respect immortal masters. Everyone desires to cultivate immortality. Here, monsters are everywhere. Ordinary people's survival is a problem. Jia. The door opened and a pretty maid in her teens walked in. "Madam, hang yourself," the pretty maid exclaimed with joy as soon as she entered, and then let out a loud shout, causing her face to collapse. "Why are you still relying on not dying?" A group of maids of all sizes followed in, and when they first entered, they were all beaming with joy. When they saw the living Wang Jingzhu, they looked dissatisfied. "Take off like this, what do you look like?" "Madam, you are the legitimate daughter of the Wang family, and if you want to die, you must die with dignity." A steward woman with one hand on her waist and one finger at Wang Jingzhu shouted loudly. Wang Jingzhu looked at the suspender on her body and said, "I'm very dignified." "No, they thought I was Wang Jingzhu. Do I really want to replace Wang Jingzhu to die?" Quickly sorting out the memories left by Wang Jingzhu, she had to become nervous again. "You guys go out first, I'm just getting ready. You suddenly broke in and scared me." Wang Jingzhu slowly stood up and casually picked up Wang Jingzhu's left clothes, staring. "Get out of here." "Humph, hurry up. A group of maids and servants left angrily. The door is not closed, without any servant consciousness. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Boundary Card. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Boundary Card. Wang Jingzhu slammed the door and leaned back against it, lost in thought. The cause of the matter is very bloody. The Wang and Li families, among the 4 major families in Anqing City, began cooperating 15 years ago. To show sincerity in cooperation, Wang Jingzhu, the eldest wife of the Wang family, is engaged to Li Yu, the eldest son of the Li family. 10 years ago, Li Yu was identified as a heavenly-level golden spiritual root, a peerless genius, and was accepted as a disciple by the head of the heavenly sect. Wang Jingzhu is a useless cultivator with 4 spiritual roots. Nowadays, Li Yu is already a master of the golden elixir period and a master of refining weapons, standing high and mighty. Wang Jingzhu is only on the 2nd floor of the gas refining stage, just a bit stronger than ordinary people who cannot practice at all. The Li family has already achieved great success, the Wang family still showed no signs of improvement. The highest cultivation in the family, but in the middle of the foundation building period, he is not the enemy of Li Yu's unity. The Li family wanted to withdraw their marriage, but due to face-saving reasons, they refused to come to their door and did not specify their intention to withdraw. Everyone in the Wang family understands, but the Wang family is afraid that they will be abandoned by the Li family after their engagement is terminated. They have been searching for a perfect solution to the Li family's troubles while maintaining their dignity, and preferably continuing to climb the Li family. Yesterday, Wang Jingzhu went to ask Emperor Tianzong for Li Yu, but she didn't see him. Instead, she was almost eaten by a monster, but fortunately, she was saved by a young male cultivator. The Wang family thought this was a good opportunity and said that Wang Jingzhu had been held by another man. In the name of ritual, they wanted Wang Jingzhu to die. The eldest lady of the Wang family sacrificed herself for Li Yu, and Li Yu had to recognize this unmarried wife for the rest of his life. The Wang family hugged the Li family's thighs tightly. Wang Jingzhu naturally refused and died, so she dug up a talisman given to her by her grandparents. The great-aunt of the Wang family died shortly after receiving this talisman in a mysterious ancient immortal mansion. Before her death, she secretly gave this talisman to Wang Jingzhu. This great-grandmother did not leave the talisman to Wang Jingzhu solely because she had a special fondness for her, but because this talisman had no reaction to the rest of the Wang family, she had a reaction to Wang Jingzhu. Jing'er, there is a person in another world who is 100% the same as you, just like another you. So it responds to you. If you sacrifice it, you, who are in 2 different worlds, will merge into one. However, the specific way to integrate is unknown to me. You can explore it yourself. Whether the other world is the legendary fairy world or somewhere else, I don't know. However, I hope you can successfully unlock this talisman. This talisman is hidden in the most secret part of the main hall of the ancient immortal mansion, and it must be an important thing. If that world is truly the fairy world, you will be blessed. When Wang Jingzhu received this talisman, she looked down upon it and casually threw it aside, without even studying it. If it weren't for this life and death crisis, she would have forgotten this talisman. Without any research or much thought, Wang Jingzhu used the method of blood dripping to identify the owner. In this realm, magical treasures and artifacts are all recognized by dripping blood. Wang Jingzhu never expected that the correct way to use this item was to offer sacrifices. This is a divine tool for making wedding clothes for others. As soon as Wang Jingzhu's faith moved, a light card suspended in front of her. This is what the talisman looks like after being activated. The design of the light card is similar to Wang Jingzhu's ID card. The mysterious symbols above were directly switched to simplified square characters under the control of Wang Jingzhu's mind. Wang Jingzhu, female, native. Hongjie residence. Number 1, 5th floor, Unit 3, Building 4, Number 133 Gulin Street, Xinhua County, Rongxing City, S Province, Blue Star Xia Country. Haojie Residence. Shuxian, Sanjingwang Family Mansion, Qingxifang, Anqing City, Star River Empire, Zhaoyang Continent. Permanent Residence Certificate Number 00000001. The residential addresses of both worlds are not fixed, and Wang Jingzhu has the right to change them. After trying it out, she found that there are currently many places where she can change her residence in Haojie. The places where these addresses can be changed are all privately owned or leased businesses of the Wangjia family in Anqing City, without exception. Wang Jingzhu understands. The address can be changed, but the prerequisite is that it corresponds to a building that she or her family can control. It's not mandatory to own it, even if it's rented, as long as you have the right to use it. It's very user-friendly. This address is not useless information, it is a specific delivery point. It's like a teleportation gate in a game, where you can teleport to wherever you set the address. Of course, a certain amount of energy will be consumed based on the distance of transmission. Hongjie, also known as Wang Jingzhu's home address, surprisingly has 3 replaceable addresses. Wang Jingzhu is very confused. She only has one apartment at home. The current address is her home address. Wang Jingzhu carefully looked at the other 2 places of residence, and her eyes couldn't help but become moist. It's the family of Master Lu Zhu and Uncle Su. The Jieji card is such a divine artifact, of course it won't make any mistakes. This means that both Master's family and Uncle Su's family recognize that Wang Jingzhu has the right to reside in their home. They genuinely treat Wang Jingzhu as their own. In the upper right corner of the text, the position of the big head photo on the ID card is a stereoscopic image. Wang Jingzhu's full-body stereoscopic image. Wang Jingzhu lightly tapped the void with his fingers, and the Jieji card immediately flipped over, presenting its other side in front of Wang Jingzhu. On the ancient and simple background, there is a row of golden characters floating. Haojie Permanent Resident Certificate. Under the golden letter is a row of hollow small stars, totaling 10. This is an energy star. Now, only one little star is shining with silver light, while the rest is dim. This means that the current energy value of this boundary card is 1 silver star. 1 silver star energy can activate a close-range teleportation, but cannot support the energy required for a cross-border teleportation gate. That is to say, Wang Jingzhu is currently unable to go home, but as long as she works hard, this day should come soon. The usage and taboos of the Jieji card have also been fully understood by Wang Jingzhu. This made Wang Jingzhu feel a little scared, thanks to her limited understanding. If Wang Jingzhu, after wearing to the blue star, is not in a hurry to ask Wang Jingzhu to come over as a replacement for the dead ghost, but rather releases blood to Wang Jingzhu and forcibly sacrifices him, then it is time to replace Wang Jingzhu as the owner of the world card and take control of the power of traveling between the 2 realms. In addition to the transfer function, the boundary card also comes with a time doubling function. Regardless of whether the cardholder is in their own world or the card world, the time flow in their own world is always 24:1 compared to the time flow in that world. That is to say, Wang Jingzhu lived in the cultivation world for 24 hours a day and a night, and when he returned to the blue star, it only took an hour. The opposite is also true. At present, there is still an urgent matter that needs to be resolved. Outside the door, the servants and maids of the Wang family are still waiting to collect the body of their eldest lady. Wang Jingzhu left behind a lot of clothes, and she likes to wear gauze. The gauze is light and thin, so in order to prevent penetration, only a dozen pieces can be worn with 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. Wang Jingzhu picked up the scattered skirts on the ground and put them on. She took the outermost 3 layers of gauze and put them on. She also picked up jewelry such as pearl hairpins, earrings, necklaces, and bracelets, wrapped them in a handkerchief and tucked them into her wide sleeves. These are all valuable treasures, how can they be thrown around casually? End of this chapter. Chapter 3. I choose. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 3 I Choose Opening the Realm card. Wang Jingzhu carefully considered the teleportable address. The despicable act of forcing one's eldest wife to sacrifice herself is unlikely to be widely publicized by the Wang family. Except for the main family members and specific staff, no one else should know. However, the Wang family are diligent and often patrol various industries. Wang Jingzhu didn't want to teleport and collide head-on with the legitimate lineage of the Wang family, and be directly knocked off. Moreover, the further away this address is, the better. It's just that the energy of the boundary card is too low to teleport far. The door was pushed open again. "Madam, the master has said that you must be on your way before midnight tonight," the steward said with a smile, her face full of spring breeze, as if she was not trying to persuade people to cut themselves, but rather trying to persuade them to drink. The servant saw that the empress was indecisive, so she took the initiative and prepared poison wine and white silk for her. "Do you think which one to choose?" Both poison wine and white silk were placed on a tray, held by Wang Jingzhu's personal maid. This servant girl is not at all sad, but her eyes sparkle with strange excitement. Wang Jingzhu's popularity is really bad. Wang Jingzhu glanced at the affairs in the tray and said calmly, "After much thought, I still think that jumping into Qinghu in public is more in line with my melancholic temperament. Go ask the master what he thinks. If the master also feels the same, please ask him to send me 2,000 white crystals." As soon as she said this, the steward's eyes lit up. Although it was strange that the eldest lady was dying and wanted Bai Jing to do something, she quickly ran to report back. "It's really great that madam is willing to die. The rest are all small sections. After all, the risk of being martyred is too high. Li Yuxiu is too arrogant, he must have many means. If he sees any clues, not only will the Wang family be left empty-handed, but they may also be wiped out by the Li family." In no time, Wang Jingzhu met the eldest son of the Wang family. Wang Pingyuan, Wang Jingzhu's father. Wang Pingyuan only had one question. "What do you want Bai Jing to do?" There was no guilt at all about forcing his daughter to death, and it seemed like there was still some resentment. "What does a dying person want from Bai Jing?" Wang Jingzhu showed a pitiful expression and said, "I owed Li Yu before. Can you help me make an appointment with Li Yu to enjoy the moon at the central tower of the lake? First of all, we have a settlement between us, and second of all, let her be a witness to my jumping into the lake. This is my daughter's last wish, please fulfill my father's wish." Wang Pingyuan's expression softened slightly and he nodded slowly. "Jing'er, everything you have done for the Wang family will be recorded in the family genealogy as a father, and the Wang family's sons and daughters will worship you for generations to come." Wang Jingzhu took the opportunity to remind him, "What I want is white crystal, not coin refining. Coin refining is a standard currency issued by the empire, not paper currency, made from a mixture of monster skins and spiritual plant fibers. There are 5 denominations, including 100,500,1000,5000 and 10,000 white crystals. The currency corresponding to coin smelting is Bai Jing. It can be exchanged for equivalent value at any crystal estate in the empire without any fees. The reason why the numbers are so large and there are no low denominations is because the difficulty of making coins is high, and it requires the use of imperial artifacts to add anti-counterfeiting marks. In this world, coin making is considered a lofty thing, not prepared for ordinary people. Even ordinary people rarely come into contact with Bai Jing. Their trading item is iron coins. Iron coins are the official currency issued by the empire. 1,000 iron coins can be exchanged for 1 white crystal in Jingzhuang, but a handling fee of 50 iron coins is required. Wang Jingzhu wants white crystals. Bai Jing can practice directly, but not coins. As she was about to flee to the end of the world, Wang Jingzhu didn't think she had time to go to Jingzhuang to exchange it. Wang Pingyuan frowned slightly and said, "Why?" 2,000 white crystals weigh about 4 pounds, how inconvenient is it to hold them? 2,000 coins, even if all have a face value of 100, only a thin stack. When Li Yu counted the white crystals, I had to jump off the building. Otherwise, what if she grabbed me? Wang Pingyuan nodded and suddenly felt that this daughter still had some brain, not as foolish as he thought. Refine a few coins and order them in one go. 2,000 white crystals are worth counting for a while, enough to jump a building. My daughter really can't argue with Li Yu. What if Li Yu persuades her, she won't jump? 2,000 white crystals, for the Wang family, are just a drop in the bucket, and they are also a normal turnover value for young ladies from different families when interacting. As for how my daughter figured it out and was willing to sacrifice for the Wang family, it's not important at all. Wang Jingzhu said that she borrowed 2,000 white crystals from Li Yu, which did not arouse Wang Pingyuan's suspicion. Wang Pingyuan not only brought 2,000 white crystals, but also a box of immortal jewelry and an extremely luxurious set of clothing, which was extremely luxurious. All of them are currently the best that the Wang family can offer. Since she wants to die in front of the Li family, the Wang family must die with considerable dignity. Anyway, these things can still be salvaged and won't be lost. Wang Jingzhu received the white crystal and originally planned to refine it himself to recharge the boundary card, but found that the boundary card could directly absorb the spiritual energy in the white crystal. Moreover, the barrier card absorbs white crystals very quickly. White crystals contain rich spiritual energy. Practitioners can use specific techniques to absorb spiritual energy and enhance their own abilities. It is a naturally generated, regular equilateral triangular prism, approximately 5 mm in size. Individual differences are very small, at least not visible to the naked eye. Only by measuring with precision instruments can we discover the micro differences between each white crystal. Due to the natural attribute of white crystals, people in this realm have regarded them as equivalent exchange items, i.e. currency, since ancient times. The transmission function of the boundary card is currently Wang Jingzhu's greatest guarantee. While the maids were dressing her up, Wang Jingzhu was playing with Bai Jing, secretly using the realm card to absorb her energy. White crystals that have been drained of spiritual energy will turn into powder. There were many white crystals in the box, and the maid's attention was no longer focused on it, no one noticed. Before long, 20 white crystals turned into powder. All 10 energy stars in the realm card have become silver bright. After 10 silver stars light up, the realm card can still absorb spiritual energy and cannot initiate cross-border teleportation. However, it can already teleport Wang Jingzhu to other industries of the Wang family outside of Anqing City. Wang Jingzhu did not continue to play with Bai Jing, afraid that the maids would notice any flaws. As she was about to leave, Wang Jingzhu specially ordered a cloak with a silver fox demon fur border. The fur of the silver fox demon shimmers with silver in the night, making people shine with silver. Is it good looking or not? It's hard to say. B grid is very high. At midnight, Wang Jingzhu arrived at the Huxin Tower. The cultivation world believes that the period from the hour of midnight to the initial rise of the sun is the best time for cultivation. Here, scheduling a meeting at Zisher is an extremely intimate gesture, not impolite or abrupt. In fact, anyone who cultivates, even a novice who only practices one layer of qi, only needs 3 or 4 hours of sleep a day. So, when Wang Jingzhu's carriage drove out of the Wang family's mansion, the streets were already brightly lit and bustling with people. Ordinary people who rush to survive have already started a day of hard work. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Spicy Eyes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Spicy Eyes. Wang Jingzhu lifted the car curtain and looked at these rough and busy figures, couldn't help but shake her head and sigh. Alas, working 7 days a week for 18 hours a day is so miserable. There is a lake in Anqing City. There is a 9-story building in the center of the lake, and it is rumored that it was built to suppress the great demon in the lake. Now, it's a restaurant. The most expensive restaurant in Anqing City, owned by the owner of the city. Idle people cannot go because there is no bridge or boat. Can only fly over. The ability to wield swords and fly is only available when the refining period is 5 or more layers. Wang Jingzhu's cultivation in the second level of qi refining naturally cannot fly, but the Wang family domesticates a flying monster. The snow reed eagle. Li Yu's cultivation level is 1 drop higher than Wang Jingzhu's, and she has 3 levels of qi refining. She can only take the snow reed eagle to get there. Ordinary maids and servants do not take one. The Wang family sent 2 female cultivators with 7 levels of qi refining to follow Wang Jingzhu. 2 female cultivators flew with swords, while Wang Jingzhu rode on a snow reed eagle. The former queen of the Wang family knew how to control the snow reed eagle, but Wang Jingzhu didn't know how to do it. She absorbed Wang Jingzhu's memory and also understood the tricks behind it. It's hard to say whether my brain can handle it or not. Fortunately, the snow reed eagle has its own intelligence. The one sent to Wang Jingzhu is also the most gentle. Wang Jingzhu sat up and lightly pulled the reins, and the snow reed eagle flew up. There was a female cultivator leading the way with a sword, and the well-trained snow reed eagle knew how to fly along. Wang Jingzhu just needs to stay still. When they arrived at the Huxin restaurant, the nuns were responsible for watching the snow reed eagle. Wang Jingzhu and Li Yu, who had just landed, went upstairs together. The venue of the Lord's house is naturally safe, and no one dares to cause trouble here. There is no need to bring bodyguards to obstruct the view. The Wang family had already booked a room, the most expensive suspended pavilion on the top floor facing the lake. As the name suggests, the hanging pavilion, suspended above the lake, is the best platform for diving. It is most expensive not because it is a platform, but because sitting here, most diners in the restaurant can see it as soon as they look up. Sitting in one of them, you can enjoy the attention of countless people. Since its construction, many people have jumped down from the suspended pavilion. There are not many who survive after practicing qi for 7 layers or less. There are really monsters in the lake, small fish monsters that can eat people. The little fish demon can't eat high-level cultivators, it's no problem eating a small cultivator on the second level during the refining period. Li Yu felt that Wang Jingzhu invited her to come here, probably to take the opportunity to push her down the lake in retaliation for her mockery a few days ago. She didn't even stand to the side and sat steadily in the central seat as soon as she entered the private room. I heard you invited me here to settle our old debts. Li Yu glared angrily, thinking that as long as she put on such an aggressive posture, she could gain the upper hand. Wang Jingzhu held the box filled with white crystals and smiled slightly. Yeah. I remember clearly how many times you insulted Wang Jingzhu. How are you doing? Li Yu hugged her chest with both hands, not feeling weak at all. Wang Jingzhu can't beat her. Did I scold you wrong? Wang Jingzhu, you are already a lowly useless person. What do you deserve from my brother? You don't even have the qualification to work as a housemaid for my brother. Right, you're right. Wang Jingzhu walked towards the suspended balcony. I'm your brother's fiancée AE, and I can't change it in my life. Your brother still sends filial piety to Wang Pingyuan like his grandson every year. Hee hee. Accompanied by a crisp mocking laugh, Wang Jingzhu jumped down. Pounce, the sound of falling into the water was very light, not like a person falling into the lake, but rather like a small stone thrown into the lake. Li Yu exclaimed in surprise and rushed over to check, only to see a shimmering silver light. Is that Wang Jingzhu's silver fox demon skin trimmed cape? The eldest lady of the Wang family has thrown herself into the lake. Li Yu screamed, Wang Jingzhu, you are despicable and shameless. How dare you use death to force my brother to respect your father? You dream. I will tell my brother every word you say. Our Li family will not fall into your calculations. When a person dies, there is no need to withdraw from marriage. What's different is that if you divorce, not only will the two families lose their marital relationship, but the Wang family will also have no face at all. If a person dies, they will still commit suicide for the Li family's young man. Even if the Li family does not remember their old love, they cannot immediately abandon the Wang family. However, Wang Jingzhu's mockery of Li Yu exposed the Wang family's calculations, and the Li family had an excuse to break with the Wang family. Even if they don't form a grudge, they won't let the Wang family cling to their family anymore. As for the outcome, it is not a concern for Wang Jingzhu. However, I think these two families will get into a fight, right? After all, wealth moves people's hearts. The Wang family is wealthy, and the Li family has big fists. Even if there is no excuse, there will be a fight. Fight it, it's best if the Wang family is destroyed. However, Wang Jingzhu currently does not have the strength to watch the excitement of the Wang and Li families, so he can only escape. When she left the Wang family mansion, she changed the residential address of Haojia on the boundary card to the farthest property from Anqing City, the Tufeng Forest Farm, thousands of miles away. The Tufeng Forest Farm is the most remote industry of the Wang family, and it is also the farthest range that the Wang family's tentacles can reach. Even further away, with the ability of the Wang family, it would be uncontrollable. As the eldest lady of the Wang family, the Jieji card assumes that Wang Jingzhu has the right to reside in all buildings of the Wang family. Wang Jingzhu changed the residence of Jieji card Haojia to Tufeng Forest Farm at the south entrance of Wenshenzong in the Tianlan Mountains of the Star River Empire in Zhaoyang continent. During the teleportation, Jieji card transported Wang Jingzhu to the master bedroom of the Tufeng Forest Farm. For a small industry like Tufeng Forest Farm, the main residence of the housewife should be the master bedroom in the main courtyard. In the master bedroom, the head of the Tufeng Forest Farm was holding her beautiful concubine. And to his horror, he discovered an extra person in the room. The other party is dressed beautifully, please take a closer look. Ah, my own big lady. Wang Jingzhu did not expect to see a scene of spicy eyes when teleported over. She's only 18 years old and hasn't had a boyfriend yet. Although I have read a lot of various romance novels, I have never seen this kind of live version before. The woman is actually beautiful, but the man is too ugly and raspy. Really eye-catching. However, it must be held. Wang Jingzhu snorted coldly, turned his back, and gave a cold command. Li Lang invited me to meet at the south gate. Hurry up and prepare the animal cart. How could the eldest lady appear here? What secret technique did Madame use to appear here with a whoosh? Is the wooden box held by the eldest lady a gift for Li Yu? Ugly file management has many questions, but I dare not ask them. The scene just now, the eldest lady did not scold, but was already exceptionally lenient. This matter concerns the reputation of the eldest lady, and he dare not mention it. He can only try to reduce his own sense of existence. He couldn't imagine that if the master knew about the current scene, the master would definitely peel off his skin and cramp him. The Wang family now has to use all their strength to climb up Li Yu, and everyone in the Wang family understands. The matter between Deng Yangzi and Li Lang is a huge matter for the Wang family, although this steward has no confidence in this marriage in his heart. Ah, surprisingly, it didn't pass the review. It's amazing, so I had to make some deletions. Continue to seek collection. Be sure to remember to click Add to Bookshelf. Tickets can also be counted. We have received the signed contract from the station and are currently going through the process. It will take a few more days to change the status. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. I am the lady of a rich family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. I am the lady of a rich family. He hurriedly put on his pants and ran out. Before he could run far, he heard the lady's command, bring me all the white crystals from the forest farm. He quickly turned around and bowed, saying, "Yes, I understand." The eldest lady must have come in a hurry and didn't prepare enough white crystals. It is common for the children of the host family to withdraw money and goods from nearby manor shops when they come out to play. In no time, the horn demon bull cart was ready. "Madam, there are only 5,000 white crystals that can be used in the forest farm now, all of which are here." The steward of the ugly file handed Wang Jingzhu an embroidered purse with both hands. The wallet contained 50 coins with a face value of 100, bulging. Wang Jingzhu nodded and reached out to take it, looking at the box and purse in her arms, frowning slightly. The steward of the ugly file was very clever and immediately understood. Due to her low cultivation, the eldest lady was not equipped with storage equipment by the family. She quickly ordered someone to find an extremely beautiful golden embroidered bag. This bag was originally given to his beloved concubine by him. Now, return to Wang Jingzhu. Wang Jingzhu is very satisfied with this bag. It is not as multi-layered as the bags in her world, but it is extremely complex. It is adorned with a circle of pearls the size of rice grains, and carried on her shoulder, matching well with her gorgeous ancient costume. Put the box containing white crystals and the small purse containing coins into it, it's just right. Two female attendants, Wang Jingzhu, helped the beast carriage onto the platform. The steward personally carried the white crystal bag and sat on the shaft to escort the car. 8 guards from the 6th and 7th floors of the Qi refining period accompanied. This is all the power of the local bee forest farm. Wentian Zhongnan Gate, a large market. Because the south gate of Wentian sect is located here, it is quite safe. Adventurers who enter the Tianlan Mountains for hunting and treasure hunting like to camp nearby, and over time, a market has formed. The north gate of Wentian sect is 100 miles outside of Anqing City, while its south gate is 1,000 miles away. It can only be said that the territory occupied by Wentian sect is too extensive and extensive. The Tufeng Forest Farm is located here, serving as a foothold for the Wang family at the southern entrance of Wentian sect. Additionally, it facilitates the immediate acquisition of various materials from adventurers, such as monster corpses, immortal herbs, precious wood, etc. After on-site processing, some are resold to Wentian sect at the southern entrance, while others are transported back to Anqing City for further processing. Wang Jingzhu said, "Go to the south gate," but there was actually a big mistake because the Tufeng Forest Farm is located inside the south gate. But the steward didn't dare to doubt it, so he made up his mind to ask for the south gate of the heavenly sect. The advantage of the curved horn demon beast cart is its load-bearing capacity, but its speed is very slow. It took half an hour to walk from the Tufeng Forest Farm to the south gate of Wentian sect, 7 or 8 miles away. Wang Jingzhu was burning with anxiety inside the car, afraid that the news of the Wang family's eldest lady jumping into the lake and committing suicide would come. It is extremely difficult for ordinary people in this world to send a remote message, but it is convenient for cultivators to leave a message imprint on each other, and they can directly send message symbols to each other. The amount of information carried by the messenger is not large, but it is more than enough to convey the words, "Madam jumped into the lake and committed suicide." Fortunately, the manager of this Tufeng Forest Farm has not shown remarkable performance in recent years, and there are no confidants in Anqing City. No one remembers sending him a message immediately. At the south gate of Wentian sect, Wang Jingzhu and the disciples of Wentian sect who were guarding the gate stared wide-eyed. Wentian sect is too great. No matter how famous Li Yu is, these disciples below cannot possibly know his fiancée A.E., nor have they even heard of her. Looking up, Wang Jingzhu saw the nearby spaceship field. The public aviation station, set up by Emperor Tianzong here, and had an idea. "I'll go find Li Lang on my own, don't follow me." Without giving the opportunity to ask the steward, Wang Jingzhu shook off the maid who was supporting her and walked straight into the spaceship field. The steward of the ugly file scratched his head and followed, only to see his eldest wife stepping onto a spaceship flying towards Jinchuan City. Jinchuan City is a large city on the other side of the Tianlan Mountains, about 1,000 miles away from the South Gate, and separated from Anqing City by Wentian Sect. The Heavenly Sect is too big, and the straight line distance between Jinchuan City and Anqing City exceeds 2,000 miles. The steward of the ugly file hesitated and planned to follow with his guards when he saw his eldest lady walking towards a group of disciples of the Wentian Sect. The disciples of the Quest for Heaven sect were responding to their eldest lady with a smile. Liu arranged for disciples of the Heavenly Sect to pick up the eldest lady. With these disciples of the Heavenly Sect present, Madam must be safe. What if it's not safe? Anyway, he didn't receive any orders to protect the eldest lady. Thinking that he didn't have much weight and that this matter was not within his scope of responsibility, it was better to do less than to do more. The steward of the ugly file took the initiative to help Wang Jingzhu pay the fees for 20 white crystal spaceships, and then turned around with his people. The next day, the Wang family sent a message informing him to go back to attend the funeral of the eldest lady and bring back the account books for investigation. However, the steward of the ugly file fainted on the spot. I was deceived, that girl is not even a big lady. Madam is dead. 5,000 white crystals, he can't afford to sell them. The ugly file steward was about to roll up valuable supplies in the local bee forest, abandoning his beautiful concubines and running away. Hello, senior. You are so handsome, said Wang Jingzhu and the disciples of Wentian Sect. The praise of being praised by others, or the praise of a beautiful woman dressed up so wealthy, naturally matched the smiles of the disciples of the Heavenly Sect. Cultivation is an important factor in determining one's social status, as is money. The little girl's cultivation is not high, but when she looks at this outfit, she looks like a wealthy lady, worth making friends with. Wang Jingzhu naturally sat with them. The adventurers around believed that Wang Jingzhu was with these disciples of the Wentian Sect and consciously kept a distance. These disciples of the Heavenly Sect thought that Wang Jingzhu's advanced cultivation as a bodyguard was among those adventurers, and they dared not make mistakes. After all, how could such a luxurious and beautiful little lady go out without a bodyguard? Although it was midnight, the spaceship quickly filled up. After reaching full capacity, the spacecraft immediately took off without much delay. It is not allowed for spacecraft to pass within the range of the Tianzong sect. Even if it is owned by oneself and carries outsiders, it is even more impossible. The spaceship traveled along the edge of the Wentian Sect, passing through the Tianlan Mountains in a large circle, before reaching Jinchuan City. The edge of the Wentian Sect has been cleared by the Wentian Sect for a long time, with no monsters and very safe. Deep in the Tianlan Mountains, even spaceships dare not go. While conversing quietly with these disciples of the Wentian Sect, Wang Jingzhu also quietly looked around. Although there are seats available, most passengers are standing. Facing the wind, standing by the side of the ship, holding a sword, the little brother's hair was not at all messy, his green shirt and long robe were slightly blowing, and his immortal aura was floating. The senior sister standing alone at the stern of the ship had a string of tassels tied around her waist. Even though the wind was blowing through her hair, her tassels remained motionless. There are both male and female cultivators with such outstanding demeanor, as well as fierce warriors with fierce appearances who declare with bloodstains that, I am very fierce, don't provoke me, but Wang Jingzhu is not afraid. Wang Jingzhu was in a great mood, and her smile was particularly sweet, but somehow she caught the eye of a nearby nun. The nun said to Wang Jingzhu, young lady, you look really beautiful. At least you can sell 5 million white crystals for a high price. Wang Jingzhu looked confused and puzzled. The woman continued, young lady, my sister is also for your own good. Last year, the daughter of the legitimate daughter of the Lord of Guancheng went missing after entering the Tianlan Mountains. She only found her this year and heard that she has become the leader of the brothel on Qinglan Road. The Lord of Guancheng spent 7 million to redeem her. As soon as she left the brothel, Lady Guan killed herself. Although you don't have the peerless beauty of Lady Guan, you still need to be careful. Wang Jingzhu suddenly became horrified. In this world, human trafficking is a common occurrence. Wang Jingzhu was scared to death, but he had to pretend that nothing had happened. She can't panic. If she panics, her tiger skin will break. I can't figure out whether this nun is genuinely doing her best, warning her with kindness, or intentionally speaking to scare her. Wang Jingzhu still sincerely thanked her. The male disciples of Wentian's sect expressed one after another, "Not afraid, we are here. If you have something to do, please contact senior brother." The spaceship was not satisfied with its speed, and although it had traveled thousands of miles, it arrived at Jinchuan City in an hour. Many people jump off the boat halfway. Adventurers come to the Tianlan Mountains for adventure. Riding a spaceship can save several days of travel and also save a lot of trouble along the way. When they reach their destination, they jump off the ship directly. Save time and effort. The female cultivator at the stern suddenly withdrew her tassel from her waist and threw it towards the spaceship, followed closely by herself as she jumped down. The tassels suddenly grew larger and turned into countless strands of light, like a rainbow, like a river. The nun sat lightly among the tassels, slowly drifting towards the distance. The little brother standing with a sword suddenly fell off the ship, which scared Wang Jingzhu to the point of almost screaming. However, he suddenly appeared on the side of the spaceship, stepping on the flying sword and breaking through the air. From the hour of Zishur to the beginning of the sun's rise, it is a good time for cultivation. Monsters are no exception. At this moment, jumping off the boat and entering the Tianlan Mountains, the monsters are practicing vigorously, and it is a good time to launch a surprise attack. The same goes for the disciples of Wentian's sect around Wang Jingzhu. They left a famous post for Wang Jingzhu before leaving, hoping that Wang Jingzhu could go ask Emperor Tianzong to play with them in the future. Marrying by Fume, who wouldn't want to struggle for 100 years less. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Going Home. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Going Home. Wang Jingzhu disembarked from the boat in Jinchuan City and walked in front of a group of adventurers with her head held high, as if all these people behind were her attendants. Outside the docking site of the spacecraft, levels were set up in Jinchuan City. Entering the city to pay taxes, each person has 2 white crystals, and those who have reached the golden elixir level or above do not need to pay. The strong have privileges, the weak can only obey. Wang Jingzhu threw 2 white crystals into the toll box, and the level guard was stunned for a moment. Normally, when these wealthy women go out, don't they always have servants come to pay their fees? Although it was a child carrying Jin Yuanbao across the street, no one dared to attack Wang Jingzhu, who was dressed in fancy clothes. Wang Jingzhu walked on the street in such a grand and imperial place, and no one dared to believe that there were no bodyguards hidden beside her. She had originally planned to buy a set of adventurers' narrow sleeves in Jinchuan City, pawn all the clothes on her body, leave Jinchuan City, and continue south. Seeing the evading gaze of passers-by, Wang Jingzhu suddenly remembered the word "fox pretends to be tiger." Her luxurious attire perfectly indicates that she is backed by the mountains and should not be underestimated. However, pretending to be an adventurer actually falls short. Even if she scratches her face, she is still likely to become the prey of the villain. After all, a pill can repair her appearance. If it were true as the female disciple of the heavenly sect said, she could be worth 5 million, probably Wang Jingzhu dare not think about the consequences. However, the disciples of Wentian's sect on the spaceship also said that in the city, as long as they don't run to any deserted places, safety can still be guaranteed. There is a law enforcement team in the city, and robbing people on the street is not a common occurrence. Well, it's just not often, it's not uncommon. After all, money moves people's hearts. This is the world where the strong are respected and above the use of force. In such a world, being weak is original sin. Wang Jingzhu is undoubtedly weak. She, who is so weak, has a beautiful face. If it were to be seen that she was traveling alone without the support of the strong, what would she face? Probably, it would be even more tragic than death. Feeling flustered in her heart, Wang Jingzhu held her head and chest high, deliberately stepping out of her 6 relatives' unrecognizable aura, as if she was really following a group of powerful minions behind her. The daughter of the strong family travels, eliminate evil and disperse. The gaze that wandered over Wang Jingzhu did indeed become hidden. For now, no one has any plans for Wang Jingzhu. This safety is of course temporary. Over time, those with a heart will always find out that she is truly a lonely and weak woman. So, Wang Jingzhu quickly walked into a well-known inn. Junzi Lai Inn. The gentleman is very famous, and it is rumored that the boss behind the scenes is the Purple Light Immortal Emperor. Purple Light Immortal Emperor, a divine figure, is said to be able to poke a hole in the sky with just one finger, and with a wave of his hand, the sea will capsize. There are also gentlemen coming to the inn in Anqing City. The steward in the inn changes every 3 years, each with a foundation period cultivation. The Lord of the Golden Elixir Cultivation and the elders of the Wentian sect are like grandsons in front of these stewards. Regardless of whether this gentleman comes to the backstage of the inn as the Purple Light Immortal Emperor or not, he will always return with a considerable head, otherwise he cannot open the chain store all over the mainland of Zhaoyang. At the prominent entrance of the inn, there were several large words written, "No private fights allowed in the store." The guests and staff entering and leaving were all polite and whispering, as if speaking loudly would result in being judged as violating the rules. This young lady, staying at the hotel or being a top tier? Wang Jingzhu said, "I want to stay in a hotel for a long time. Please give me a brighter room. A first-class room with 100 crystals for 1 night, and a second-class room with 50 crystals for 1 night. Madam. Class A, please. Okay, 1 first-class room." Wang Jingzhu quickly changed the address of the Haojie residence on the Jieji card to room 14, Yijing Junzi Lai Inn, Jinchuan City, Star River Empire, Zhaoyang Continent. One day, with 100 white crystals, Wang Jingzhu counted 10 pieces of 100 face-value coins for the shop assistant. 10 days. Room 14. Wang Jingzhu tightly closed the doors and windows, continuing to infuse energy into the Jiji card. White crystals turn into powder one by one. After using 100 white crystals, the first silver star became Venus. The boundary card can initiate cross-server transmission and send Wang Jingzhu home. The power of Venus can support a cross-border teleportation. Wang Jingzhu did not go home immediately, but continued to infuse energy into the realm card until the third silver star became Venus. After the appearance of the third Venus, Wang Jingzhu suddenly had a clear understanding, as if this realm card had conveyed information to her in some other way, telling her that she could draw energy from it to improve her own cultivation. Wang Jingzhu's mind moved. On the boundary card, Wang Jingzhu's 3-dimensional portrait lit up. A light travels and circulates along a specific path on the statue. At the same time, the spiritual energy in Wang Jingzhu's body also began to circulate in the meridians. The spiritual energy circulation route is not the practice route left by Wang Jingzhu in her memory, but a brand new way of cultivation. The route is exactly the same as the Guanghua circulation route on the border card figurine. With just a few breaths, the spiritual energy ran through Wang Jingzhu's body for a whole week. There is no coagulation. It's as simple as eating and drinking water. Wang Jingzhu was stunned. In Wang Jingzhu's memory, cultivation was quite difficult. Wang Jingzhu often works hard all night and only operates for a few weeks. Half an hour later, the third energy star of the Jieji card changed from gold to silver. Jieji card refused to continue providing cultivation energy to Wang Jingzhu. Wang Jingzhu laughed and scolded. "Stingy, it's not that I won't give it to you anymore." Her cultivation level has also been elevated from the second level of the qi refining period to the third level of the qi refining period, and her cultivation level is stable in the middle level. 100 white crystals elevate one level of cultivation. There are no bottlenecks to break through. Wang Jingzhu tasted the essence and quickly continued to fill the energy into the realm card. During the refining period, 150 white crystals were used from the third layer to the fourth layer, 220 white crystals were used from the fourth layer to the fifth layer during the gas refining period. During the refining period, 300 white crystals were used from the fifth layer to the sixth layer. Wang Jingzhu continued and infused 400 white crystal spiritual energy into the realm card, then extracted it and integrated it into himself. This time, Wang Jingzhu reached the sixth level of the qi refining stage and suddenly couldn't extract energy from the realm card, even though the third energy was still golden. Wang Jingzhu panicked for a moment, almost thinking that her golden finger had been invalidated. After some experiments, she found that it was actually a bottleneck. To break through to the seventh level, you need to break through the barrier. It's like Wang Jingzhu is a small water tank, and now the water in the tank is full, so there's no more water to pour into it. To continue filling more water, it is necessary to turn the small water tank into a large one. Wang Jingzhu pushed open the door and found that the sun was rising 3 times. The street is still bustling. Wang Jingzhu called the shop assistant over and gave him 200 crystals to refine coins. He asked him to help purchase a set of ordinary combat uniforms and a regular flying sword. There are always playboys who like to pretend to be commoners. The shop assistant is knowledgeable and gave Wang Jingzhu a "I understand" smile, agreeing. "Don't worry, little lady. I'll wrap it around my body. I guarantee you're satisfied." When the shop assistant left, Wang Jingzhu locked the door and hung the bag containing white crystals on her shoulder. She saw the free fruits and a few plates of small pastries provided by the shop on the table, and picked up all the small pastries and put them into the water fruit basket. She picked up the water fruit basket and activated the cross-border teleportation of the boundary card. In the next moment, Wang Jingzhu appeared in her own bedroom. In the house, nothing has changed. It's just a big package on the ground. The large package brought by Wang Jingzhu. In my memory, when Wang Jingzhu crossed over, her wrist was still bleeding, and there should have been blood splattered on the ground. However, upon closer inspection, Wang Jingzhu did not see any bloodstains. The traces of Wang Jingzhu's life have completely disappeared. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Happy learning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Happy learning. Outside the door, the sound of parents whispering came. The voice is very low, the former Wang Jingzhu must not be able to hear it. She is now a successful cultivator in the 6th level of qi refining, with far greater ear strength than ordinary people, and can hear the movements outside the door clearly. Mom's son Weihong said, "There is still 1 month left before the college entrance examination, and I don't know if Bamboo can pass." Sigh. Dad, Wang Guoyu said, "Bamboo is definitely not a problem. She will definitely pass the exam." Wife, I want to go deliver takeout after work. My 2 children will go to college in the second half of the year, and this tuition fee. Son Weihong quickly objected, "Isn't that good? It's not good to have your colleague bump into it. What's wrong with it? I earn money through labor, I don't steal or rob. Didn't Lao Su say he lent you his car for ride-hailing services? Running a ride-hailing service should cost more than delivering takeout. You're so funny. I'll use my brother's car to make money. Let's count him as a shareholder, and we'll split the bill by 50 or 50. Wang Guoyu remained silent for a moment and let out a low sigh. It's also okay. Wang Jingzhu's heart was sour. Both parents used to be theatrical actors, but their talents were average and their singing skills were not high. Plus, as I get older and my figure has taken shape, I have now switched careers into businesses and my income is not high. The old Su, referred to by parents, is Su Jinjin, the master brother of their father. Su Qianjin changed careers early and has been engaged in the liquor business with some savings. During the Chinese New Year and holidays, Su Qianjin often gave red envelopes to Wang Jingzhu's siblings, but both were returned as gifts by his parents to Su Qianjin's daughter. Father has always been strong and unwilling to accept his senior brother's assistance. Wang Jingzhu untied her hair, took off her formal attire, changed into her student uniform, stuffed all of her belongings under the bed, hid them, and pushed out the door with a fruit basket in hand. Dad and Mom, this should have been secretly left in my bedroom by Xiao Xian when she came to play this afternoon. I didn't see it at the time. Sun Weihong smiled with surprise, but scolded, "What kind of eyes are you, kid? How could you not see such a big basket? Oh, where are the pastries?" Wang Guoyu said, "Let's talk about Xiao Xian another day. This child doesn't know how to make a living. What are you doing with this money? It's not a good time." Sun Weihong said, "This is for Bamboo. Xiao Xian must be thinking that Bamboo is going to take the college entrance examination. Buy her something delicious and ask her to relax. This child is very considerate." A fruit basket with a diameter of 1 foot, which is said not to be seen, is indeed unreasonable, but Wang Jingzhu does not explain. There are 3 types of fruits in the fruit basket: grapes, dates, and pears. The cultivation world is full of spiritual energy. Although these fruits are not spiritual fruits, they also contain a small amount of spiritual energy. There are also 3 types of pastries, all made with lingmi and lingmai flour, which ordinary people can eat as supplements. The plate is very attractive, but the quantity of each sample is not large. Sun Weihong immediately picked up all the fruits and washed them, asking Wang Jingzhu to eat them. "Dad and Mom, you guys eat too. There's too much, I can't finish it alone." "I can't finish eating until tomorrow," said Wang Guoyu. "Dad and Mom, if you don't eat, I won't eat either." The threatened Wang Guoyu couple only pinched a grape and put it in their mouth. So sweet. There's also a delicious aroma. Sun Weihong's eyes lit up as he entered the grape, and he immediately reached out to take another one. "I have never tasted such delicious grapes before." Wang Guoyu couldn't help but take another one. Xiao Xian must have picked up the best to buy. How can you compare those cheap goods you usually buy? If it were usual, Sun Weihong would have to be impatient with Wang Guoyu, but this time she was convinced. "Bamboo, eat quickly. These grapes are so sweet." Wang Guoyu had a sudden idea. "Bamboo, take a video and send it to your brother. He's so greedy." Wang Jingzhu was overjoyed. "That's great, it needs to be photographed. I'm so greedy for Wang Jingbua's dog." Wang Jingbua, who was lying in his college dormitory staring at the ceiling and resenting breaking the rules by turning off the lights at 11 o'clock, received a text message from his father. He thought it was warm care, such as a red envelope, but when he opened it, he found out that it was poisoning in the middle of the night. 100,000 critical hits. Wang Jingbua immediately replied, "Dad, it's almost 12 o'clock and you're still eating with Bamboo. Bamboo won't be attending classes tomorrow. There are still 29 days left until the countdown to the college entrance examination. Come on, hurt each other." The fruit instantly lost its fragrance. "Sleep. It's almost 12 o'clock. Sun Weihong roared. Wang Jingzhu. Returning to the room, Wang Jingzhu continued to practice for a while holding on to Beijing. In his own world, Wang Jingzhu did not discover the existence of spiritual energy. However, the bottleneck remains and cultivation remains stagnant. Sleeping is impossible. The continuous breakthrough in cultivation not only strengthened her physical body, but also strengthened her spirit. According to the experience of the cultivation world, during the first few days of breakthrough, the spirit will be in a state of overflowing, and one can practice continuously for several days without rest. Wang Jingzhu's current mental state is in an extremely excited state. I don't know if it's really because of the promotion, or because I was fortunate enough to obtain the boundary membership card, or if it's a combination of both. She didn't feel sleepy at all. Wang Jingzhu's large package contained several sets of gorgeous ancient costumes, some jewelry, over 50 white crystals, and a large stack of coins. No need to count, Wang Jingzhu also knows the amount of coins refined, 2,500. As the eldest lady of the Wang family, Wang Jingzhu actually doesn't have many channels to obtain money. Most of the things given by the public are physical objects, such as clothes, jewelry, and so on. Although most of the jewelry is made of immortal treasures, selling jewelry is done by underprivileged children, and Wang Jingzhu dare not throw this person away. The coin in Wang Jingzhu's hand is the breakup fee given to her by her fiancé Li Yu. A year ago, Li Yu once went down the mountain and found Wang Jingzhu. He mentioned his divorce and said that he had decided to focus on his cultivation, fearing it would delay Wang Jingzhu. He gave Wang Jingzhu 1,000,000 coins to refine and asked her to remarry. At first, Wang Jingzhu just cried. After receiving the coins, she immediately opposed getting married and threatened that if Li Yu wanted to get married, she would hang herself at the gate of Wentian sect. Li Yu said, "It's up to you. I will never get married until my cultivation reaches the distraction period. If you are willing to wait, just wait." At that time, Wang Jingzhu shamelessly said, "Even if you don't come back to get married, you still have to give me cultivation resources. I am your fiancé A.E. If you don't give me, I will go ask Emperor Tianzong to find you." Wang Jingzhu didn't tell her family about Li Yu's 100,000 yuan coin refining. After a year, Wang Jingzhu squandered this huge sum of money and began to think of seeking extortion from Li Yu again. The gatekeeper of the heavenly sect was extremely cruel and did not give Wang Jingzhu a chance to speak up. When she saw that she couldn't bring out Li Yu's invitation, she directly threw someone at her and stabbed her with a sword if she didn't leave. Wang Jingzhu returned in frustration, encountering a demon on the way, and then she was forced to sacrifice herself. Wang Jingzhu is not a good person, but she doesn't have a good impression of Li Yu either. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Raising High. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Raising High. Most of Wang Jingzhu's package is adorned with gorgeous and beautiful ancient dresses. These clothes are not worn by Wang Jingzhu. She only wears each piece of clothing once. Unfortunately, Wang Jingzhu decided to dispose of it. "Xiaoxian, I have obtained several sets of ancient costumes and I want to sell them in your online store. Do you think it's okay?" My best friend Lin Xiaoxian is indeed not asleep yet, she will reply in seconds. "Okay, aren't you going to take the college entrance examination? How come you still have time to do this?" Wang Jingzhu. Breaking up friendship. JPG Lin Xiaoxian. Well behaved. JPG Lin Xiaoxian. I'll come and pick it up tomorrow. Wang Jingzhu. Well, my classmate gave me some fruits and snacks. I said you bought them, but when my mom asks you tomorrow, don't slip your tongue. Lin Xiaoxian. Male classmate. Are you handsome or not? Wang Jingzhu. Don't ask. I just don't know. I'm asleep, goodbye. Lin Xiaoxian. I understand. JPG sleeping is impossible, so Wang Jingzhu flipped out her textbook and started reviewing. There are still 29 days left for the college entrance examination, and we must work hard. It's strange to say that books that used to make me want to sleep when I read them, but tonight I become more and more energetic as I read them. I understand things that I couldn't understand before when I read them tonight. The English words that I couldn't remember in the past, after reading them tonight, are consciously engraved in my mind, clear and clear. Wang Jingzhu was pleasantly surprised and wanted to shout. "Mom, I have become a top student." Reading is like this, only by reading clearly can one read with enthusiasm. Accidentally, Wang Jingzhu studied all night and was knocked on by her mother in the morning before realizing it was dawn. From childhood to adulthood, Wang Jingzhu's learning state has never been so good. I can't stop learning. Wang Jingzhu, who realized later, slapped her head and said, "You're foolish. You should go to Haojie to study there for a day, and only an hour has passed here. On second thought, the accommodation fee for your guest is so expensive. I can't afford to read this book. There needs to be a way to earn white crystals." After hastily having breakfast, Wang Jingzhu went to school. I don't know why, but she thought she was so excited that she could run on the sports field for a whole day without stopping, but as soon as the teacher started teaching, she fell asleep. If it weren't for her desk mate Zhao Meixiang waking her up, she would have missed lunch. Did I sleep through all 4 classes in the morning? Zhao Meixiang nodded repeatedly. The teacher didn't notice that I was sleeping. Wang Jingzhu was very surprised. Her grades were not good, but she was always very obedient. She always sits quietly in the last row, trying to stare at the teacher with wide eyes, almost writing 4 words on her face. I'm very serious. Zhao Meixiang stalls her hands. The college entrance examination is coming soon. As long as it does not affect classroom discipline, teachers will no longer waste their energy on underperforming students. Wang Jingzhu also understands. The teachers have already given up on her. Rejected Zhao Meixiang's invitation to go to the cafeteria for dinner, Wang Jingzhu went to the class teacher's office. The homeroom teacher has indeed not rested yet and is grading yesterday's exam paper. The homeroom teacher pushed her glasses and saw clearly that it was Wang Jingzhu, frowning. What's up? Teacher, I want to take a leave to go home and review by myself. The homeroom teacher is very unhappy. At the end of school, I mobilized you to choose independent enrollment and attend vocational schools. Both you and your family are determined to take the college entrance examination. No matter what you say, you won't listen. Look at your current grades. You can lower the average score of our class by dozens alone, do you know? Are you still thinking of reviewing on your own? Why don't you just give up the exam? Teacher Zhao, taking the college entrance examination is a right granted to me by the country. You have no right to deprive me. I apply to go home for review, can you make up your mind? If you can't make up your mind, I will go find the teaching director. Wang Jingzhu felt cold and didn't want to apologize with a smile. The homeroom teacher had already experienced the stubbornness of Wang Jingzhu and her parents. In order to mobilize Wang Jingzhu to attend a vocational school, he and several school leaders had their tongues worn out, and they were stunned and did not agree. I don't know where her parents came from for their confidence, but I think Wang Jingzhu can get into college. After getting tired of persuasion, they said. If you haven't passed the college entrance examination, it's not too late to choose to go to a vocational school. Why are you not allowed to take the college entrance examination? Before today, Wang Jingzhu had no confidence in her heart. Now, Wang Jingzhu is full of confidence. The homeroom teacher approved Wang Jingzhu's application for independent review. From now on, Wang Jingzhu can go home to study without coming to school. Not wanting to talk too much to the homeroom teacher, Wang Jingzhu turned around and went to the logistics office, asking for a large cardboard box to hold books. She also borrowed a phone from the on-duty teacher and called her parents to explain her decision. Dad and Mom reacted unanimously, both anxious and nervous, asking in unison, "What's going on? What's going on?" They thought Wang Jingzhu was being bullied at school. No one bullies me. I just suddenly realized that the teacher's pace is different from mine. I have a lot of foundations that I don't know, and if the teacher wants to catch top students, they don't even care about me, the bottom class, and won't go back to discussing basic courses. Wang Guoyu. How about calling your brother back to tutor you? Don't worry, my brother only knows how to play games with me. Sun Weihong. Okay, Mom can buy you online courses. Mom, no need. If I don't understand anything, I'll ask my brother. Before, Wang Jingzhu was very confused about learning. No matter how the teacher taught her how to learn, she couldn't keep up with the pace of the teacher. Suddenly, she was enlightened and understood how to learn. There are many learning materials, most of which are usually kept in the classroom. Now I need to bring all of them home. The cardboard boxes provided by the logistics department were so large that they were actually full. A box full of books and papers, very heavy. A male classmate wanted to help her, but he hugged her, feeling embarrassed and didn't actually pick her up. I'll do it myself. Wang Jingzhu easily picked up the cardboard box and strode out of the classroom, effortlessly. Oh, have you finally been kicked out of school? You idiot Zhu. Ji Tingyun had just finished lunch and returned to the classroom when she saw Wang Jingzhu carrying a box of books and was about to leave. She couldn't help but gloat and speak sarcastically. If we don't mock this brainless intellectual disability with big breasts, we won't have a chance in the future. No matter how beautiful you are, what's wrong? A bad brain is also the result of being played with. Without saying a word, Wang Jingzhu placed the cardboard box on the ground, grabbed the collar of Ji Yunting's school uniform, and gently lifted her up. Ah! Ah! Ji Yunting was so scared that she tightly hugged Wang Jingzhu's arm and kept screaming. A group of classmates had just finished lunch and returned to the classroom when they saw this scene. They were so shocked that their chins were about to fall. In movies and TV shows, it is common to see violent men grabbing people by the collar and lifting them up, but everyone knows that it is a misplaced shooting. Now, they have seen the live-action version, and the perpetrator is still a beautiful female classmate who appears calm, gentle, and weak. The key is that Yunting is still so fat. Not to mention 200 pounds, she must have 150 pounds. It was an instant shock to the entire audience. Apologize. Wang Jingzhu said 2 words. If she hadn't just been to the restroom, Ji Tingyun must have peed by now. Startled too much, Ji Yunting couldn't hear what Wang Jingzhu was saying and just screamed desperately at her throat. Soon, the classroom was filled with people inside and outside. Students from all over the floor rushed over. Oh, hello, real person lift. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Who Dares to Believe? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Who Dares to Believe? Although the school has always prohibited students from bringing mobile phones into the school, there are always 1 or 2 students who have excellent skills and can always sneak in their phones. Now, these phones that are usually hidden are raised high, striving to capture this surreal scene. Apologize. Wang Jingzhu said again. This time, she used some cultivation and her voice was particularly loud and clear, as if she had a built-in microphone. Ji Yunting heard and understood this time. Zhuzi's sister, I was wrong. I was wrong. I apologize, I shouldn't have insulted you. I shouldn't have been jealous of your beauty. Zhuzi's sister, please forgive me. Ji Yunting admitted her mistake in a stack of voices. Wang Jingzhu snorted lightly and slowly put down Ji Yunting. She also helped the latter by the shoulder and straightened the collar. She said with an aged tone, a good student should understand civility and politeness, and not have a bad mouth. I know now, Sister Bamboo. I was wrong. Ji Yunting continued to apologize, tears swirling in her eyes, but she dared not flow out, let alone cry. Wang Jingzhu nodded and picked up the cardboard box again. The students automatically made way for a passage and silently watched Wang Jingzhu leave. Several teachers, including Wang Jingzhu's homeroom teacher and teaching director, had already arrived, but stood behind the students without daring to say a word. A living person who can lift 100 or so pounds with one hand, as long as she is willing to calm things down, it's okay. What else do you care about? One sentence is wrong, it's embarrassing to be raised like a dumbbell. Besides, what a well-behaved little girl Wang Jingzhu is. It's all Ji Tingyun's fault. Wang Jingzhu's figure disappeared at the staircase, and the students suddenly erupted into a flood-like clamor. "Mom, I saw Superman." "Still a girl." Ji Tingyun ran back to her seat and cried loudly. Zhao Meixiang tried to inhale incredulously. How could this be possible? How could bamboo have such great strength? Those male classmates who secretly fell in love with Wang Jingzhu, Chi, remained silent. "I really don't deserve it. Bamboo, what should I do? I will never meet someone more perfect than you again in my life." Those male classmates who once confessed to Wang Jingzhu but were rejected. "It turns out that bamboo is so good to me." At that time, her book hit me on the head. I only now know how gentle she was at that time. "Juzi, did you have a little crush on me at that time?" "I'm so stupid, I didn't even see it." "Bamboo, I love you, give me another chance." Many girls are in a crazy state. What should I do? Do I have a problem with my orientation? I seem to have fallen in love with Wang Jingzhu. She's so handsome. I really want a one-handed lift. She must be a little brother, right? Wang Jingzhu got on the bus carrying a box of books. The box was very large, but it was sealed and it was hard to see what was inside. When people saw Wang Jingzhu's relaxed demeanor, they thought there was only a doll or something inside the paper box. Wang Guoyu hurried to the school but received news that Wang Jingzhu had already left. "Teacher, where have all the bamboo books at home been placed? I'll help her pull them back." The homeroom teacher remained silent for a moment. "Is your Kong Barbie still in need of help?" Wang Jingzhu took away all the books and study materials himself. "Oh, thank you, teacher." Wang Guoyu didn't think much, thinking that Wang Jingzhu had taken a taxi and left on his own. Wang Jingzhu returned home, turned on her second-hand old phone, and sent a message to her parents saying that she had safely arrived home. Not long after, the parents rushed back and carefully observed Wang Jingzhu several times, confirming that his daughter, Juanshu Quanwei, had not been bullied before feeling a little relieved. Studying at home is also good. It's good. Although he said so, Wang Guoyu was very worried in his heart. Although his daughter's grades have always been average, Wang Guoyu always has a mysterious confidence in her and feels that her daughter is stronger than her son. My son has passed the exam, but can my daughter still fail? Completely ignoring Wang Jingzhu's score, he never reached the height of Wang Jinghua. But now, Wang Guoyu's lost faith in his daughter has shattered. He feels very uncomfortable. How could his well-behaved daughter not be able to get into college? What should she do in the future if she doesn't get into college? Do we have to do physical labor on the assembly line like them? My daughter is so delicate. Since you have made your own decision on bamboo, Mom will support you. Lao Wang, you can ask Lao Su which online course their pairs attend, and we can also buy bamboo. Sun Weihong received Wang Guoyu's promise and turned to Wang Jingzhu, saying, "Xiao Xian has come and taken a few sets of ancient costumes. You should study hard and not get involved in Xiao Xian's business, you know." Wang Jingzhu said, "Mom, if I can't pass the exam, I'll follow Xiao Xian to open an online store." Xiao Xian hasn't even attended high school, isn't it good now? All roads lead to Rome, and the world is vast, there will always be a path that suits me. Sun Weihong muttered to himself. It's always important to study. It's different between those who have attended college and those who haven't. Wang Guoyu was also unwilling to listen to Wang Jingzhu's words, which were initially encouraging but actually very discouraging. How can you compare yourself to Xiao Xian? Juzi, you are the heart and soul of your parents. Xiao Xian's parents probably don't remember having such a daughter anymore. No matter what, you can't give up. Dad, I haven't given up. Starting from today, I'll hang my head and stab my thigh. I'm sure you'll come back with a key exam. Sun Weihong laughed. What kind of prick? If you want to break a little skin, it can make your father's heart ache. Hee hee. Wang Guoyu smiled contentedly. Forget the key points, just a bachelor's degree is enough. Wang Jingzhu is full of confidence. Yo! Such low requirements. Don't worry, it's easy to catch. Speaking of learning, Wang Jingzhu locked herself in the room that afternoon and began a large-scale battle against the sea of questions. In terms of Chinese, English, and literature, she first moves the answers over and then memorizes them. Good memory, that's all. Mathematics is more troublesome, and many problems have answers that I don't know. I also have to go through books to find formulas and principles. After dinner, I return to my room to continue. After studying intensively until midnight, Wang Jingzhu finally felt tired. She sat cross-legged on the bed, practicing the cultivation techniques provided by the Jie card. Blue stars cannot provide spiritual energy, but Wang Jingzhu has white crystals. This cultivation is not for increasing cultivation, but for relieving fatigue and restoring spirit. After practicing for an hour, Wang Jingzhu was full of vitality. Continue reciting the Battle of the Sea. Suddenly, Wang Jingzhu felt something break in her body. She quickly activated the Jie card technique, and the energy stored in the Jie card flowed continuously into her body. She broke through and successfully advanced to the 7th level of the Qi refining stage. Q. How did you break through the bottleneck of the 6th layer of gas refining? Answer. I just stayed up late to recite. Back and forth, it broke through. You're lying to ghosts. Who dares to believe it? Wang Jingzhu couldn't believe it herself, so she broke through like this. Wang Jingzhu left her with memories of how difficult this breakthrough was, and more than half of people's lives cannot break through it. Perhaps the information Wang Jingzhu received was incorrect. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Must cite, seeking recommendation votes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Must cite, seeking recommendation votes. Having cultivation does not necessarily mean having combat power, one must also engage in practical combat. Wang Jingzhu couldn't help but change into ancient costumes and start cross-border teleportation, and went to find a martial arts museum in Jinchuan City to practice. Thinking about the high cost of cross-border teleportation and receiving specialized training in battle technology museums, Wang Jingzhu knew he couldn't sit idly by in the cultivation world where Beijing was needed everywhere. Guarding such a good channel in a foreign world, doing cross-border business is sure to make a fortune. Wang Jingzhu pondered deeply and secretly worried. Blue stars lack spiritual energy, what can there be to make people in the cultivation world pay for it? Rare things are precious. My goods have crossed borders and can't compare to anything else. I always strive for novelty, so there should be a market, right? To do business, one must have capital. Lin Shaoxian can't count on it at the moment. Antique costumes won't sell out so quickly, even if they do, the money won't be much. On this day, when her parents went to work, Wang Jingzhu picked up the pile of jewelry that Wang Pingyuan had decorated for her. These jewelry pieces are beautiful and have undergone special techniques to enhance their appearance or provide protection. In the realm of cultivation, each piece is worth thousands or even tens of thousands of crystals, which ordinary people cannot afford to wear. Finally, Wang Jingzhu picked up a pair of relatively low-value Fei Ling jade bracelets and a purple G ring and walked out. The rest were still packed in cardboard boxes containing study materials and stuffed under the bed. In her bedroom, Wang Guoyu usually doesn't enter, saying that if her daughter is old, fathers should avoid suspicion. Sun Weihong will not touch her daughter's learning supplies. Wang Jingzhu is not at all worried about her secret being discovered by her parents. Even if they discover it and say it's an antique performance costume, parents won't doubt it. They don't have that discerning value, at most they can praise it as, it's like real. Xinhua County is just a small county town, and Rongxing City is just a third-tier city. Wang Jingzhu left the door and went straight to the power station, taking the high-speed train to the provincial capital city of Ningnan City. It only takes 1 hour by high-speed train from Xinhua County to Ningnan City. After getting off the high-speed train, Wang Jingzhu will transfer to the subway. This is not her first time in Ningnan City, she is familiar with the road. Brother Wang Jinghua is currently studying at a university in Ningnan City. There is a large jewelry company located between Wenhou Temple and the back street of Wenhou Temple in Ningnan City. This is one of the most famous tourist attractions in Ningnan City, and the largest antique trading market and antique street in S Province are all located here. Wang Jinghua brought Wang Jingzhu over. Upon learning that Wang Jingzhu was here to sell jewelry, the jewelry store attendant dressed in exquisite makeup looked at her up and down. She seemed surprised by her student sportswear and stepped back, frowning and saying, "Sister, we only accept gold, silver, and precious jewelry here. Are you sure you have one?" Wang Jingzhu had no choice but to say, "How will you collect the red jade and purple diamonds that have been passed down from our family?" Pop. The jewelry store waiter laughed so hard that a layer of powder fell off her face. "Ancestors, that's antiques. You have to go to the antique trading market for antiques. Turn right when you go out, follow that alley and walk slowly without seeing you off." Wang Jingzhu turned around and walked towards the door, taking off her mask as she walked. I rushed all the way wearing epidemic masks, but suddenly felt a bit suffocated. I took off my mask to let out some air. Another more delicate waiter in the jewelry store happened to look up and saw Wang Jingzhu's face. He immediately showed a surprised expression and shouted, "Classmate, are you the one online?" Wang Jingzhu looked over in confusion. The Qingxiu waiter was immediately pleasantly surprised and said excitedly, "It's really you. You're the famous Barbie from Xinhua No. 1 Middle School." With this shout, everyone in the jewelry store, whether tourists or waiters, looked at Wang Jingzhu. Many people took out their phones to quickly search for a short video that suddenly became popular last night, and compared it with the female student in the video and Wang Jingzhu. "Really? It's a Juren Barbie." "No, it's Barbie." Wang Jingzhu looked bewildered and said, "A successful candidate. You're still the top scorer." "What kind of thing?" Hula, a group of people surrounded Wang Jingzhu. "Sister, is the video real? Can you really lift someone up with one hand?" "Classmate, how did you shoot that video? It was taken from a borrowed location, wasn't it? Little girl, you look so beautiful. Let's make your debut in the same place. Sister, can I take a photo with you?" Wang Jingzhu only felt a buzzing sound in her ear, as if countless flies were circling around her. While feeling confused, she was also very frustrated. At this moment, she heard a request that was not worth beating. "Miss, if you can lift me up today, I'll believe it. If you can't lift me up, delete the video immediately. You little girls are crazy about wanting to become famous. If you have any looks, you dare to hype up." When this somewhat mischievous young man spoke, his fingers quickly reached Wang Jingzhu's forehead. The large gemstone ring on his middle finger dazzled Wang Jingzhu's eyes. Wang Jingzhu glanced at him sideways. This gemstone ring is about 1.75 meters tall for men, with a slight belly fat, not too fat. Wang Jingzhu estimated that his weight should not be much heavier than Ji Yunting's, so there should be no problem lifting him. He asked, "What are the benefits of lifting you up?" "Miss, if you lift me up today, I'll give you money. If you lift me up for 1 second, I'll give you 1,000 yuan. How about 1,000 yuan per second?" The onlookers all cheered up. "Raise! Raise! Raise! Must be raised. Barbie, come on. Lift him up. Lift him up. Okay." Wang Jingzhu immediately smiled and revealed 8 big teeth. 1,000 per second. It seems that there is no need to sell jewelry today. Could you please give way and make some space for me? The two security guards at the jewelry store were also clever people. They immediately came out to maintain discipline and instructed everyone to stand under the steps at the entrance of the jewelry store, revealing the entrance as a performance stage for Wang Jingzhu. The man with the gemstone ring took off his suit and threw it to the young man next to him. He straightened his tie and raised his wrist, revealing his watch studded with diamonds. "Miss, if you can't do it, admit immediately that you made a fake video. Don't show off. If you can show off and get injured, it's okay. If you drop me, you can't afford it." Wang Jingzhu always felt that the "miss" he shouted was a different meaning. "Handsome guy, so many people are watching. Don't blame me for holding for too long and then you'll end up defaulting. Dishonest. Do you know what this is? Patek Philippe. With just this watch, it's enough to lift your arm and break it." "Okay." Wang Jingzhu raised her right hand and compared, grabbing the white shirt collar and tie knot of the man with the gemstone ring, and suddenly lifted her arm. Without any effort, the man with the gemstone ring was lifted up, but his height was much higher than Ji Yunting, and he was also more than 10 centimeters taller than Wang Jingzhu, with longer feet. This guy tried to point his toes towards the ground after leaving the ground, which made Wang Jingzhu very angry. "Where is it? Playing with height advantage here." Wang Jingzhu made an effort to straighten her arm, but could only lift the man with the gemstone ring a few centimeters off the ground. The man with the gemstone ring was surprised and could actually lift it up, but he wasn't nervous and was very relaxed. "It's really fun to raise someone high. Apart from feeling a bit uncomfortable with my clothes, there was no sense of suffocation." Although Wang Jingzhu's hand was in front of his throat, he did not strangle his neck. "This little girl is really not bad. She looks good, with big eyes and a big chest. Even if the zipper of the school uniform is pulled so high, the commanding vision cannot see anything." End of this chapter.